Literally, I failed. And I don't mean just lightly. I mean the type of failure where you feel like hiding from everyone. But sometimes it's exactly where your real journey begins. Failure is not where your story starts. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through what failure is, why it hurts so deeply, and how to not just only survive from it, but to transform through it. If you ever felt like a disappointment, like everyone else is just moving forward while you feel stuck, this video is for you. This is a video structure, and each one of them links into the other. So here's what no one tells you is that failure does not just hit your results, it also hits your identity. Simply because we tie our worth to basically performance. For example, if you get good grades in school, it means you're smart. But then if you get bad grades, it means that you are definitely stupid. If you had multiple breakups, it might mean that you are unlovable. Also, in this age of social media, it sometimes feel like you are failing publicly while everyone else is out there winning. But also again, everyone fails, but then not everyone posts about it. The science also says that your brain registers failure the same way it registers physical pain. That's why it's so painful and it cuts so deep when you fail at something, and then you see yourself as a failure. And also, according to Dr. Carol Dweck, she also states that long term success comes from those who learn from failure and not those who avoid it. Take me, for example. I failed university twice and I was literally depressed. I remember isolating myself. I questioned everything, even my worth, my intelligence. I was also questioning my future. Then again, just last year, I passed most of my modules, but then I failed math, so I had to repeat again. And the financial burden was heavy on me. I literally wanted to give up, and I felt like I was so stuck in this loop that nothing was going to change. But then something just clicked that maybe this failure was teaching me something, and it wasn't the end. It was sort of like a redirection for me. So basically, I had to just shift my mindset from I can't pass my math to I can pass, and I just need a better strategy. And that literally changed everything for me because at the end of the day, I passed my test. I even passed my exams. So basically, the only thing that was holding me back was just my mindset. Back then, I had the wrong mindset and I approached a lot of things with that mindset. That's why I felt like I wasn't moving forward and I was just moving backwards. But then, as soon as I changed my mindset and I decided to approach things differently, I was able to approach most of the things that I thought I couldn't even do. So basically, this is how most people do one of the three things after they feel like they have failed at something. For instance, the first thing is that they either ignore it, ignore the failure, and pretend as if it didn't happen, or they spiral in shame, saying things like, "Oh, I'm such a loser, I'll never make it, yada yada yada," or they just give up completely. Then, what if, just what if, instead of running from failure, you face it? Because listen, at the end of the day, failure is just an event and it's not your identity. But then the more you internalize it, the more you shrink your future. I'm not really sure who said this quote, but then it goes something like this: You don't drown by falling in the water, you drown by staying there. If you're thinking, but I failed so many times. Yes, you failed many times, and the fact is that you being here right now means that something in you is still willing to fight, get up from that failure. But then don't get me wrong. Definitely, failure is something that is painful. I've experienced it personally. And yes, you can cry about it, but then don't drown in those tears, okay? Because it's like after you crying, you have to pick yourself up and you have to go do the thing differently, learn from those mistakes. So here's the step-by-step process that I personally took towards failure. It helped me a lot. So step one is you have to acknowledge it. Like, don't sugarcoat it and try and beat around the bush. You just have to name it. For instance, in my case, I'll be like, I failed at uni, right? It hurt because I watched everyone else and most of my peers move forward while I stayed behind. And the second step is you have to detach your identity. What you did doesn't define who you are. Yes, you failed at something, but then it doesn't mean that you are a failure. You're just a work in progress, and that should not define who you are at the end of the day. And then the third step is instead of criticizing, you have to question it. Like ask yourself, what did this failure teach me that I can use to succeed in the next thing or the same event that is going to happen? Because one thing that I've realized is that certain things will happen over and over again up until you get those lessons. And as long as you don't get those lessons in those failures, you're going to fail and fail and fail until that specific day that you realize the mistake and the lessons, then you move forward from it. So the fourth step is you have to have a comeback plan because you're not stuck at the end of the day. You're not stuck and you can redirect from that failure. So, what's one small action that you can take today to shift your energy? And literally, that's going to help you in many ways. So, there are many more other steps that I did not mention here, but these steps worked for me, and I'm sure that it will also work for you. So, this is going to be proof that failure in the end, but then it's just the beginning. And at the end of the day, everyone goes through failure. Every successful person that you admire has failed, and maybe for them, they've even failed harder because their success was definitely not a straight line. But then for them, they built their success on breakdowns. So, what does this mean for you? So, these are the few mindset shifts that sort of like saved me and made me understand that failure is not a rejection, but then it's a redirection. You are not being punished, you are being pushed into growth, strength, and self discovery. What didn't work out maybe wasn't also meant for the old version of you. You don't have to shrink yourself just because you failed. Sometimes you have to rise from that failure and know that it's not the end of the road. It might also just be the beginning of becoming someone better than you were yesterday. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This video kind of like also called me out. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.